Is this the best time to be a wrestling fan? Do we have the best storylines? And have the championships taken a back seat? Well, guess what? We're back. It's season 3, but I'm not alone. So let's get to it. Welcome to season 3 of Championship Culture. I'm Brandon the Guy, and remember, every belt has a story. Now, before we get into today's content, I want to remind you of a couple quick things. Did you know? Well, you should know by now, because this is season 3, that if you go over to youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm, you can catch all the episodes of all the past episodes, which include season 1, a bonus episode, and season 2. Now, if you go over and follow us on all social media platforms, which includes Threads, X, and Facebook, just use the handle at Wrestling Realm, or if you go to Instagram directly, go to championship underscore and follow us. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe and engage in the conversation where we talk about all things wrestling. And trust me, when you're in the comments, we will definitely respond and we definitely engage. Now, you can download all of our audio content anytime just by going over to Spotify. And you can also watch our Twitch channel using the handle at the Wrestling Realm. Now, I know football season is well underway, but there are concerts, live events, and other sporting events. Let the guys at the restaurant save you some money. And when I say save you some money, let us help you save some money by going over to SeatGeek.com. If you purchase the tickets from SeatGeek.com and use the promo code The Wrestling Realm, we're going to save you $20 off of any purchase of $50 or more. Once again, all you got to do is use that promo code Wrestling Realm. And if you've seen the price of tickets, by the time they hit the fees and everything, and that's the good thing about SeatGeek, they give you all the fees, they give you everything all at one time. And guess what? Use the promo code Wrestling Realm. It's going to save you $20 on any purchase of $50 or more. Now, as I said at the top of the show, I asked 3 specific questions, right? And we're going to get to these answers. But in order to do this justice, there's some, in the multiverse, as we like to say, there's another set of individuals that's kind of, on a hot streak right now. When I say a hot streak, they've been in business about 6 months, but it feels like it's been 6 years. Sometimes we come across people that are like-minded wrestling fans that give you perspectives. They're entertaining. They're always going to give you content. I swear, if you go to their TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, any of their social media, you're going to get some content that's going to be entertaining. Heck, sometimes when I'm driving, I just put it on and keep scrolling up because their content is outstanding. So today, to help me answer this question, is this the best time to be a wrestling fan? And have championship belts taken a back seat? Are they no longer the main attraction? We got people, and I'm going to say 2 of the hosts from the Holy Shhh Podcast. Let's welcome to the show. Welcome, guys.
What up,
man? They said it because I couldn't. I'm so glad you did that. Welcome. We got Mr. Chuck Jordan and Mr. A from the Holy Shhh. I'm going to just keep podcast. Yeah, I would just keep doing that so we can say it. Welcome. Well, I appreciate you joining us here at Championship Culture, especially to kick off season 3. And we got a lot to discuss tonight. But before we get to that, tell the people who you are, because I tried, but I don't think I can do any justice.
It's Chuck Jordan.
Why? You got to be extra. Jeez, man, guest.
Because my name is Chuck Jordan. Right there. That's me.
It's on the bottom of the screen. Okay. Clearly. Well, we are still
clearly.
And now where can they find Mr. Jordan?
At Chuck Jordan R&B.
There we go. And who's that sitting right next to you? That's Let's see what it is, because he seems like he's after trying to push you through.
That's a Cody fan.
I'm the biggest Cody fan on the planet.
He means nothing.
I'm a big Cody fan. I'm an AEW mark, but you can call me ABE from DET.
All right.
We wouldn't put our build up. There we go.
We got one.
We got one.
You got what?
We saw we got to put one up. At least one.
And look, is that the Blue Universal Championship?
No. That's the WWE.
The one
it's just like the blue is in. That's what I was like, okay,
yeah,
it's got the blue light. But you know what?
Yeah.
And you know, I say every belt has a story. Oh, you might have to hear the story behind that belt, but guess what? Welcome, guys.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you joining us, especially for this season 3. We've been gone for a little while, but we had to come back with a bang, right? And when I say we coming back for a bang, it seems like being a wrestling fan is cool nowadays, right? And it seems like this is probably the best time to be a wrestling fan. We got content coming at us in any way, shape, or form, right? We can access wrestling through YouTube, TikTok, X, Facebook. Well, not Hulu anymore. About to get it on CW, about to get it on Netflix. You can record on your DVR. You know, back in the day, we used to pass tapes around and we had to wait days and days to get them. And then, you know, depending on what it was and who you had it, when you could see it. But it's so many ways to, you know, consume it, right? So I'm asking, is this the best time in all of your wrestling time that you've been a fan to be a wrestling fan?
You go first. Man.
I don't know how to say this without sounding like an asshole, but since Triple H has taken over the reins for WWE, yes. NXT is great because Shawn Michaels is cooking. I just watched the highlights of AEW. I'm not gonna lie. I can't really get into it. I'm trying.
Oh, don't get me started on
you
that.
Sound like
and TNA's women wrestling is amazing.
We might have to touch on that. You know what? And I'm gonna hold you to that. Hey, what'd you say? What'd you say? Is this the best time to be a fan?
1000% this is. It's just what he said, but also it's just options. You know, it was a time where Vince McMahon was running everything into the ground and we didn't have much to watch. And then the indie stuff, it wasn't easily accessible, but now it's just ridiculous, man. We are working every single day because it's just that much content to talk about, man. Makes our job a lot easier, you know?
And compared to the past, you know, we used to only have WWF and somebody else, whether that somebody else was WCW. And then when TNA came around, it was like, ooh, it's some competition. ROH came around. But now we got whatever type of wrestling you like, whether it be WWE, AEW, New Japan, TNA, AAA, CMLL, ROH, and a host of indie fans. It's different. It's different for every fan, right? So do you prefer the wrestling now or do you prefer the wrestling in the past? Because you're saying this is the best time to be a fan. So to you, do you compare this time or the past of being a fan?
This is a great time, but because I'm a little old, 100% old school was way better, man. You know, old school to me was just better. Storylines were better. It just, maybe because I was just more childlike, you know what I mean? I had a better imagination. The world didn't spoil me as much, but I just feel like back then it was just a timeless era, man. Characters, they just transcended. Right now, we don't got a lot of transcending wrestlers right now, like Hogan used to be, Rock, Austin, maybe Roman might be the only one, him and Cody, you know, but back then it was multiples, man. That's the only difference I would say. They were bigger than just wrestling. They were pop icons.
Now I'm gonna put a pin in that storyline because I want to touch on that, but I'm gonna hit Chuck with a question because you know he said something about the women's division, right? And I'm gonna touch on this. I prefer the TNA knockout division of the past, not the current one. What makes you say this is the better wrestling for TNA at this time for their women's division?
When I do watch TNA, the men just some of them are good, but it just doesn't hit as much as when I watch the women. The women usually always put on the show. I just feel like they carry the show, and then especially now that they're and what got me to start watching is when they start having the fusion between NXT and TNA.
NXTNA. I feel
Yeah.
like that's been perfect for both sides of the business. And I've been on record saying, with the TNA benefit from it. Now we're starting to see why TNA is benefiting from it. And it's interesting to say, and I think that they are helping their women's division because they lost a lot of their heavy hitters. Deanna Perrazzo is gone. Mickey James is she retired or is she just taking a break or whatever it may be? She might just be enjoying being home since her husband is holding it down on SmackDown.
Right.
But they've had an exodus, and I'm glad Rosemary is back. Chelsea Green is down in WWE. A lot of their heavy hitters or a lot of those prominent women have moved on to other things. So, and I think they're rebuilding, but I miss the knockouts of the past. When we had like Marty Bell, Mia Yim, Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, um, oh my God, what is her name? When she was with Awesome Kong, Gail Kim. All of those knockouts of the past. I feel like that was a better time than now. But
I wasn't watching them. Sorry.
oh, so I'm gonna challenge you. You have to go back and watch when they had the white strap belt the first time, when they had the TNA logo the first time. If you go back and watch any matches from there until they changed it to Impact, you'll be thoroughly impressed.
All right, I will.
Okay. So now back to you. So you said something about storylines, all right? And you said the storylines in the past were better. Let's talk about that, right?
Yep.
These storylines seem to be transcending more than just wrestling. The storylines in the past were so wrestling centered. How do you say that those storylines are better?
The reason I say it was just a little bit better, it seemed like back then it was multiples. You didn't have just right now. It feels like, especially if we talk in WWE, there's the bloodline, and everything picks off of that. Things don't have their individual, like multiple storylines right now. It just feels like it's always just a solid 3 or maybe 2, and everything kind of piggybacks off of that. Back in the day, it just felt like it was more. You had IC title feuds, you had European title feuds, you had every belt had their own little feud, nothing intertwined with each other. That's just what it felt. It felt a little more spaced out back in the day.
And even
I will
wrestlers
say
that
the
weren't.
tag team division was tag team goes up and down all the time. We had when I first started watching, the tag team was like the thing to watch. Then it died. Then it came back. Then it died. Then it came back again. And now we're on like, I forget who the champions are, but they have like groups that's like, oh, I would love to see the belts on them. Who's the champs? Oh yeah, the champs are busy with this storyline over yonder.
So it sounds like you're saying it's taking a back seat.
They are.
Oh,
I don't like
okay.
it.
So let me ask you this, and this is for either one of you. When we had those storylines back then, like you named, the Intercontinental title feud, the European title feud, and I'm glad you're talking about belts, right? Because now we're going to start getting into some things. Sometimes the number one contendership matches were more important than the title match, just to seeing the two people fighting, and then now they kind of like make tournaments, fatal 4 ways. They have all these different things to try to build up the competitor, or I mean the challenger for the belt, but it seems like that kind of falls a little flat because how many times you're going to keep seeing a Chad Gable lose? How many times you're going to keep seeing a Jey Uso lose? How many times you're going to put Bronson Reed or something? Now he gets taken out for different reasons. Life happens. It kind of gets, okay, kind of boring. But I see where they're going. They're trying to rotate stars around, right? But as far as the storylines, some of them are better now. Would you not say the Bloodline
Ouch.
is a better storyline than, I'm gonna just pick something that we probably can remember, similar to Corporation?
I would say, yeah, it's got more longevity. It's created more stars. So yeah, I would definitely give that over to Corporation for sure.
Now, I'm not a fan of this. I'm about to say this. Is it better than NWO?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I don't think
All
so.
right.
Me personally, not yet.
So, is it better than the Bullet Club?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I think
Now,
so.
why is it better than the Bullet Club but not NWO?
Like I said, I like to look at things from a marketing standpoint. That's my background. And so I like to see them spill outside of wrestling. To me, the Bullet Club, wrestling fans know them. NWO, the world knew them. DX, kids who didn't even watch wrestling were doing the chop. So I like those transcending things, looking at the numbers to where you surpass just wrestling fans. The world likes you. I don't think Bullet Club quite did that.
But see, so I'm gonna give you two things. The Bullet Club, was selling T-shirts in other spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bloodline is starting to bleed into other spaces. Or let me take it back. Roman Reigns is bleeding in other spaces.
Thank
We
you.
hearing
Yep.
his music
He is the
playing in
bloodline. What are you
different
talking about?
places.
Let him talk. Jesus
Sorry.
Christ. He's a Roman Mark.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Now I'm gonna agree with you because I said it. The bloodline was dead unless he was there.
Yeah.
But in that notion, his T-shirts were being worn by just common people. You know, you
Mhm.
see somebody with a shirt and just say "Acknowledge me." It's kind of cool. You know, what was it? Wreck everyone to leave. It's like, oh, that's kind of go. You know, all these different things you're starting to see. But WWE has
Stacking and
always been
packing.
good with
Yep.
with their T-shirts. But now you start to see breaking into different spaces, right? You're starting to see that this man that was fed down our throat for so long is now what we want to see. We're dying to see it. You know what I mean? And it's like, even to the point, we had things like the Judgment Day. We had the Hardy Boys in different storylines in the past and in the future. We had, I'm sorry, in the now. Even things like Okada being New Japan and now him being AEW is like, what happened? His storyline in the past was much better
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? And it was it because of how he rose to the top to get the New Japan World title, and now he's champion in AEW, but he's known for one word at this point.
Yeah, I don't think we should say that right now.
Okay, yeah, but that's why I said a word. But it's like all of these seem to play to our emotions, right? And
Yeah.
that's what the storyline should evoke. Because one of my favorite storylines, and the super producer has the third, will laugh when I say this. Nothing was happening with Jericho, right? And he didn't have a belt. He wasn't fighting for the Intercontinental title. He wasn't going to world title. He turned around and spilled coffee on Kane. That feud was so entertaining to me, and it didn't have a title. It didn't have anything, but that was one of those sub storylines that just worked. It led to a last man standing match, very creative how Jericho won, but you still had the other storylines. Now I feel like if our emotions aren't attached, we don't realize we're missing the other storylines. What say you? Do you think that it's because it's emotion failed, or do you think it's because they're just that good?
Well, that's a lot to unpack. I will say, I noticed something about Roman.
He didn't say shit about Roman.
Let me finish. Let
He
me
definitely went
work.
there with Roman. He definitely.
I noticed something about Roman because he said he went from being forced down our throats to where now we like him. And I remember as a kid, and it got reintroduced to me when I was watching The Rock's show, Young Rock, and he was like, they hated me when I came out. Like he was like, as much as I tried, they hated me. He was like, until I just was like, pretty much stop trying and just be myself. And then I remember the documentary with Roman. He was like, I didn't ask for nothing they was doing for me. I just kept trying to go out there and just do my job. And it wasn't until his brother died, he was just like, fuck trying. Like I'm done trying to make y'all like me. I'm done. I'm just gonna be me. And I believe a lot of times and we say it all the time about certain characters not getting over. Like we talked about Wendy Chu on our show. We was like, I personally liked the Sleepy Psycho, but he was like, she needs to stop and just be herself. Sometimes it's not about the gimmick. It's about we like you because we like you. We don't need you to paint this fantasy story. Like just be yourself, be genuine, and the fans kind of gravitate towards that. And as a fan, it's like a lot. As a kid, I think I gravitated more of the larger than life character. Like I could see myself wanting to be like that. And now as a grown up, it's like, are you really being you, or are you trying to sell me a used car? Because I'm not trying to buy a used car. I'm here to escape from my own reality. And if I can't envision myself like, oh man, I could do that too, even though I can't. But it's like, that childhood dream is still alive. It's like, and I believe it is emotion, but it's like, can you captivate me at all ages? Because as a fan, we are all ages. Like, even though the smart me would be like, that's stupid. They need to build up more and more of this. But as a fan, when I'm watching, I'm not saying none of the stuff that I critique about later. I'm just, oh, that's great. Did you see when they? Oh man, did you Man, and then as I started thinking, I'm like, but that that might have been a little stupid, but they could have did better with that. Now I'm critiquing it as because it's part of the job to critique. But it's like when I'm watching it, I'm just watching it as, oh man, this is great. Yep.
So he had to bring Roman in the mix, right?
Every time. This is every show we do.
He's back.
We were just doing a Lions show, and what are we talking about Roman for? We talking about the NFL. What the hell?
Because when the drums start going off in the back.
Man.
But and it's crazy because let me ask you this, because when we talk about emotions, right? We can go back to for the old regime used to make us feel like we were stupid, right? They never wanted to connect the dots or say the obvious, right? For years, Roman and the Usos were always near each other, but never was on, really acknowledged that they were relatives. And it wasn't until the bloodline it became these are my cousins that's like my brothers. You know what I mean? Because, certain culture, certain family, you grow up with your cousins more than you do your own siblings. So now they started saying, okay, let's acknowledge the fact, play on words, that this is what it is. Let's go ahead and say that, this person is related, this person is related. Yes, this is we know what's happening, right? We don't have to hide it anymore. And it wasn't until that emotion started to happen that I think that stories start to turn. Like, even if we take the Judgment Day, so I don't have to beat the dead horse with the bloodline. Let's look at the Judgment Day. We knew Damian Priest, something was missing. Put him with Edge. Oh, perfect. Let's see what he's going to do. Because we want a champion. We're not a champion. We want to get behind him. We want to do something, right? And then it was like Rhea Ripley, been awesome. Charlotte Flair and her, great match, maybe. So, what do you do, right? And then it's like, okay, what's next for these people? Finn Balor emotions into it. You know what I mean? So every time we have a story, it adds our emotion and ropes us in. Unlike the past, it was just a good story. Do you think that the emotions are playing into the fact that this is why we're such good wrestling fans?
I definitely do. Yeah, I definitely do. 100% think that them bringing the emotions in is bringing more of a light, and it's also the shift of how production is done. I don't know how old you are, but I remember growing up watching Family Matters and Fresh Prince and all them shows. They were all scripted, and eventually scripted started going out the window, and real life started to hit home more. They brought more emotion out of you, and wrestling took on that trait. Like you just said, the Usos, now we know backstories. Now we know Charlotte is married to Andrade. It's all these little things that back in the day we weren't access to that pulls more of our emotion out. Probably, hinting at maybe I was wrong earlier. And now that I'm thinking about this aspect of it, maybe this is a little bit of a better time because it's hitting home more. It is pulling out more of a real emotion out of you instead of just thinking you're looking at a story here. You know what I mean?
And we hear things.
Even though this has nothing to do with nothing, I'm going to throw it out there.
Is it a Roman stat?
No, it's actually The Rock and Rikishi. Because I was going to say I used to love Umaga, and I hated Rikishi, but The Rock was my guy. But when Rikishi was like, "Yeah, I hit Stone Cold the car," and I was like, "You dirty piece of how dare you hit Stone Cold?" He was like, "I did it for you. I did it for us. I did it for our family." I'm like, "Oh, they're related." I was like, then Rock was looking, and you see The Rock was like, "I'm disappointed in you, cuz." And that was the first time I was like, "Holy sh!" And you know what I'm saying? And it was like, then later on, after the death of Umaga, is when I found out they were brothers, and I'm like, why did they never play into this?
And that's because we would have been vested in that story. Like, we knew the Hart Foundation's relationship. We knew certain things like the Steiner brothers. We knew Harlem Heat because that's what they were portrayed on camera. And it was like, okay, those are cool, but, the Hardys, nobody ever, I'm going to go on record, nobody ever wanted Matt and Jeff to wrestle each other. We didn't. Nobody, who asked for that? Because we knew they were brothers. But when Edge and Christian were fighting, and we still were trying to keep kayfabe that they were brothers, and Christian turned heel and said, I wish you would have been aborted. And I was like, oh, this is serious. Oh, you're taking us to that place. Like, oh, this is dark. And now we get Christian AEW, who has no cut cards. And I'm like, this man is the patriarchy. That's all I'm going to say. And I really think that if it hadn't been for, this new regime, because we saw hints of this at NXT. where they always try to play towards, what's the story here? What's the story? How can we make this work, right? How can we add a little bit extra into it? I think that that's what's fueling the best time for us to be wrestling fans, right?
Yeah.
But what storylines are you most invested in? I know, Chuck, you're going to say the bloodline. So
Actually, right now I'm really invested in Julia in NXT. I'm really an NXT mark right now. I think NXT has the best brand of all. But I like Julia. I like Jada Parker. I really hope her and Lola Vice team up because they're really hinting towards that. But with them fighting the what is the group name?
Fatal
Fatal Influence.
Yeah.
How they both got issues with Fatal Influence, and Kalani was like, maybe you should talk to her and see if y'all can team up. And I was like, oh, that'd be nice if they teamed up. Other than
Lola
that,
isn't doing anything right now, but Lola keeps showing us that she can go.
Yeah, but then outside of that, even though it is bloodline, it's more so Jacob Fatu. That man, that werewolf. That's my guy right now. I'm happy Roman's back, but I'm really invested in Jacob right now.
Now, I'm going to ask you a bloodline question. A year ago, would you expect to see Jacob Fatu on the intro to SmackDown? Would you expect to see that?
No.
I think that is so awesome for him. He is literally, of all the superstars on SmackDown, they put him on. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but back to you, I'm sorry.
Him, I'm really excited to see what Tiffy's going to do. Tiffy time.
You want to know my hot take on that?
Go ahead.
I think she's going to cash in when Rhea Ripley wins and get the belt and be on Raw.
Oof.
At Bad Blood, I think if Rhea wins, Tiffy's going to, because that's where her boyfriend is on Raw.
Hey, you should have heard Abe's hot take yesterday.
Oh, did I miss it? Did he say the same thing?
No. It's a little different.
Oh, his is wild, but I'm with
crazy
him.
Wild.
But I love it.
Oh, the tag team. About the tag team.
I
did hear it. I did with the tag team. I did hear it.
Naya's
the force of the tag.
Yeah,
because I was like, then Tiffy can be on all brands, so she can be with her boyfriend and still be on SmackDown because SmackDown still needs her.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I think that if Rhea beats Liv at Bad Blood, she's going to barely escape because they keep playing this injury angle with Rhea more and more. She's going to escape with it, and then it's Tiffy time, and she's going to be the world champion. I just got this feeling. I don't know why. I
wouldn't mind because I actually thought the other way. I actually thought with this new Nia situation of with Naomi and Bayley, I was like, I think Bayley's going to lose, and Bayley's going to, because since she's a huge baby face, she's going to be the one to take it off Liv.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
Baby first versus Giant Hill. Yeah.
But do you want to see that? Do you want to see Bayley versus Rhea?
No, I want to see Bayley versus Liv. I think Liv is going to beat Rhea.
Oh,
due to the Judgment Day interfering, of course. But if
Liv
walks off and like, yeah, I won, and then they're like, oh, she beat Rhea, and there's only two music I would settle for if they music hit and they start walking towards Liv, like, yeah, I'm up next now. You're done with Rhea, but now you got me. And it's either Bayley or Charlotte Flair.
Well, Andrade's on SmackDown, so it got to be Charlotte.
Charlotte Flair.
Gotta, Andrade and her.
Charlotte got
to be the first speed champion.
Charlotte Flair.
She got to be the first speed champion.
I didn't say it was going to happen. I said those are the only two music if it hit, I would accept.
You would accept.
I understand what's going on, but I'm saying if Charlotte Flair music hits, and Liv is standing in the ring like, only her or Bayley's music gets hit, well, I'll be like, oh yeah, Liv, you're fucked.
And this is what wrestling is doing, because they also was reporting that Raquel was on her way back, and she got some history with Liv too. But
yeah, she do.
Ooh,
that could
I'm not interested in WWE storylines right now for some reason.
Okay, what storylines are you interested in?
If I had to pick one, I would pick the Bloodline for sure, because my guy Cody is intertwined in that. But to me,
by force,
I got one storyline that just ended, which was Hangman and Swerve. That was my favorite. But by that not ending, I am really intrigued where they're headed with Moxley. This secrecy, him saying that he's going to shake up the foundation of AEW. The rumors of Shane McMahon being planted somewhere in there. What's going on with Darby? him and Bryan Danielson being boys and them fighting. It's just so many things you could play off of that, man. So I'm really engaged right now. And where is Moxley taking this?
And see, and I get where you're coming from, but I stopped being a Moxley fan. And I'm gonna say this is gonna sound really bad because I was a Moxley fan until he became the default guy. Because I feel like that took away from his character. I feel like I didn't want to root for him because he was, oh, we don't have nothing to do, give it to Moxley. Oh, we have nothing to do, give it to Moxley. And I'm like, but why? Because even New Japan did it. You know what I mean? I was like,
yeah, they did.
Why is he the default? And I hate the word default, but that's when I stopped becoming a Moxley guy. And I think WWE misused him, of course, but AEW didn't do any better, and New Japan didn't. I was like, why? But in this whole Daniel Bryan story, I saw somebody said, give the belt to Claudio and let him retire Daniel Bryan to give him his first real world title. And I was like,
no, thank you.
I wouldn't hate that, but it's got to be a year later. Let this for not right now. Like all the way at the end when they like he didn't beat everybody, nobody, and then Cesaro gives him his loss. But nonetheless, so there's that any TNA storylines you invested in?
Any TNA I'm invested in?
Yeah.
TNA. You know what? You know who I was so invested in, and I'm so mad he left. I was really invested in Mustafa Ali. I loved his gimmick. I loved his character. I like where he was headed. I was into that. But other than that, I would say I think I really like Moose, man. I want to see where Moose is going. Moose is my guy, man. You don't like Moose? You're not a fan of Moose?
You just hurt my feelings. We bonded with Jericho at a certain point, but you just hurt my feelings. Moose just doesn't. I don't know what it. He just never hit anything. I don't know. I think it's his promos. I don't know. It's just how you can usually pick something now that you're like, okay, I'm okay with this. Right. I'm not okay with anything from his ring gear, his entrance, his promos, his wrestling. And I'm gonna tell you, this is when I really was like, yeah, I can't do anything because if Dolph Ziggler can't make you look good, I can't get behind you.
That is a fact, right there.
I do want to see Oba defeat Moose, though.
No, keep him away from keep Moose away from our NXT. Just keep him away from. It's okay.
Hey, you can't do it.
I'm just saying, as far as Oba is on a nice streak of just running through people, and if
I'm gonna give you everybody keeps trying
to pin him and Moose up against each other, which is the reason I said it how I said it. I would love for him to just go ahead and run through Moose so we can get that out of everybody's mind.
Well, when we go off the air, I'm gonna tell you why my reason for Oba, and we might record that for a smaller segment because you're gonna laugh when I tell you my thing about Oba. But I'm you
don't like Oba?
It's not like Oba. I'm gonna tell you something off the air about that because that's gonna segue to a whole different thing. I didn't say that.
Okay,
I didn't say that.
Coming soon.
I didn't say that. I love the North American title. Part of the reason I'm gonna tell you something. This is a preview. He getting too close to Wesley's time frame with the belt. That's one thing.
Okay.
That's one thing. But I got some other things. We're gonna talk. Hold me to that. I'll tell you.
Right, we'll do.
We might do good.
Did you say anything like Oba?
But I'm gonna tell you this because with championship culture, we have this phrase that says every belt has a story, right? And I think we've kind of established that this is the best time to be a wrestling fan. Yes. The emotions are there.
Yes.
But have the championships taken a back seat, right? And the reason I'm saying this, right?
Yes.
Sometimes non-title feuds are more important than the actual title.
Yes.
And I'm gonna give you an example on each show. Raw. I was a Bray Wyatt fan. Uncle Howdy, when he debuted with the YS6, that was more important. I didn't even care who the Intercontinental Tag Team or World Champion was. I wanted to see that.
Oh, we're going there. Okay,
yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like non-title.
I thought we was going to talk about the elephant in the room of the WWE World Heavyweight Bracelet, or the undisputed Ulafala. I thought we were going there.
We're going to get there because that's another thing.
If we're not going there,
non-title feuds. I'm just giving you the setup. Non-title feuds. So go ahead, run with that. The bracelet has taken more precedence over a title.
World Heavyweight Bracelet was finally destroyed. And I was so happy because I couldn't understand why are we fighting over a bracelet. a 50-cent bracelet that can easily be remade.
It was trying to be sold.
Right.
But see, so let's think about this, right?
I understood the Ula Fowler due to the fact that for
The
we've
cultural
seen
reference.
Rikishi have one, we've seen Umaga have one, we've seen the Wild Samoans. We know that's a part of your their culture. So it's like, okay, for that, I get it. But should it play the back seat to that thing? No.
So let's talk about that. Raw, right? Now, back in the day, because Abe said it, right? The storylines were good. We had all these different storylines, right? That feud for that bracelet would have been perfect in the Attitude Era. Would have been perfect in the, the block logo years. It would have been perfect. But it would have been either the opening match, a mid-card match. It would not have been the main event of anything. Because one of them titles would have been in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you this question. Who are the tag team champions on Raw?
I know this only because I actually had to look it up for a segment. And it is Finn Balor and Big Head Dunham.
Okay. Next question. Who are their top contenders?
No one.
When's the last time they've been defended?
Since they won them.
Okay. So see, this is my point I'm making. See these two belts behind me, right?
Yeah, I saw
probably
them
could
earlier.
We probably could name about 10 tag teams that feuded over these belts that's not named the New Day and the Usos. Whether they were Frankenstein tag teams or established tag teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a feud. Even if they hot potato the belt, because I swear the New Day and the Usos just kept saying, "Here's your turn. It's your turn for this one." Remember the bar even was at one point.
It was for 1 minute. It was either Usos, New Day, or sometimes Street Profits would have them. Sometimes
The
what was
Viking
that other
Raiders, FTR,
Viking Raiders would have them. But it's like there is no one fighting for. Like I said, the tag team division really sucks on certain ones because the Raw, they have no tag teams trying to fight for them, except for the New Day, who we were just getting ready to break you guys up. Now we're putting you back in the title. I don't understand that. Okay, but SmackDown, on the other hand, even though SmackDown has the Tongans have it, we have our KOs, we have the Street Profits, we have there's another group, I can't remember the name. DIY.
Pretty Deadly the musical, but Pretty Deadly is doing the musical.
Right. I didn't hear one tag team you just named that was other than RKO. That's a Frankenstein tag team. To me, the whole division is just trash, man. I don't see.
You don't like Street Profits? You don't like DIY?
I like Street Profits, but they don't like Street Profits. WWE don't. They're not marketing them well. They're not booking them well. They getting loss after loss, no meaning. They come on NXT. We not thinking they about to beat Axiom and Frazier. It's a loss coming. It's maybe. No, they're losers.
Mm.
I would just say that there's more tag teams than on Raw. There's at least we can name some tag teams.
We can name.
We couldn't name not one for Raw.
Yeah, you're right. That is true.
Well, let's talk about the secondary title, right?
Huh?
Let's talk about the secondary titles, right? Before we get to the world titles, right? And this is what I mean. The title has taken a back seat. Gunther had the Intercontinental title. It felt like a big deal when we saw Gunther. Let's call it what it is. 666 days, right? Whether the wrong person wanted that Mania or not, that was every time he had a title match, it was like, okay, it felt like a credible threat. But we had to get to that point. It never felt like people were vying for, like Abe said about how you knew the Intercontinental division. The U.S. title, same thing, right? When we say titles have taken the back seat, remember, Austin Theory had it.
Oh, LA Knight, you're right.
He lost it.
Damn.
Yeah, but remember, Austin Theory had it. Nobody cared. Then he lost it to Ray. Nobody cared. Then after Ray, who got it? What's his name? Logan Paul. Nobody cared. Now LA Knight has it, and still, do you really care?
No.
That was on top. So, do you think that these belts have now the most prestigious championships in all of wrestling history? It seems like, because if you trace the U.S. title all the way back to the NWA, it's kind of taking a back.
Even the main titles don't mean nothing no more. You see how they do Cody?
Well, let's talk about that. Did he need the title to be in this storyline?
I don't think so.
Mm,
I don't think so.
I think I just
Look,
broke him.
Cody, they didn't set nobody up for Cody, and I shit on Cody, but the main thing I shit on Cody is because Cody's a great wrestler. Cody just didn't have nobody after Roman. Roman left, and then it was just AJ Styles, who's getting ready to leave twice. We haven't seen him since. Logan Paul, who hasn't been back since then, forced you to fight Kevin Owens, even though Kevin Owens is saying I don't want it. Like what are we doing? You have nobody for him. He's just walking around with this beautiful gold title for nothing because you haven't put him against anybody since he finished his little story.
Why you gotta say it like that so disrespectfully? That was a great story that was told.
It was
Man.
a great best time to be a wrestling fan. But what would you do to course correct this? How would you make the title not take a back seat? What would you do to fix that? And let's
I
just
would
talk about the WWE Championship.
I would definitely take them out of the whole Roman story. Let them finish that on their own, man. It needs to be separated because if you intertwine with that, just like last night, people calling me, your boy Cody getting outshined by Roman. I mean, what else is it for him to do?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? You got to separate from him from that. Like I was saying with Drew and CM Punk, I didn't like them fighting. We need to build up other stars. They should be working with somebody younger, building up more stars, building up somebody who needs it. The both of them are megastars to me. They don't need each other right now. It's a great storyline, but you could be feuding with somebody else, building it up, getting them ready for Cody. They're not building enough megastars. They're riding the coattails of the ones that exist right now. And eventually they're going to fade away, and they need to change that quick. That's the first thing I would do, man.
So
Let
what
some
about
of
the
this
tag
younger
division?
talent look more legitimate.
Now, do you
And
take the
I hate
belts
to
out
say
of the
this,
bloodline?
and I hate to say this.
What was
'cause
that you said?
I was saying, do you take the belts out of the bloodline? The tag belts out of the bloodline at this point?
Not if you headed back towards Jay and Jimmy tagging up, and you want that in the future. Tongans versus, if that's a storyline, I would not mind seeing God versus the Usos. That'd be great. But if
But
that's
does
not
it
the
need the
picture,
belt?
it does not need the belt. You are right. It does not need the belt. That's a story on its own that could just be alone. So yes, I agree. Take them off the Tongans. Let somebody else reign with them.
What was you going to say, Chuck?
I hate to say this, and might show my age, but I've been telling A for the longest. I was like, I miss the days when tomorrow I can just lose it on the Raw.
Oh,
And it ain't just it's only worth pay-per-view. No, like I can lose it on a SmackDown. And then come pay-per-view, I'm no longer in the title picture. Or I gotta go. Well, I think it was like you had to have the belt for a certain amount of days to get a rematch clause. I was like, just like with the main event Jey Uso, everybody was like, what would you do? I was like, have him win it. They was like, but Braun just won it. I was like, and have him call for a rematch. You can have them go back and forth with the belt like Charlotte Flair and Sasha did for until Royal Rumble. And to me, it not only is it a good marketing strategy for Jay, considering he's the number one t-shirt guy. You put the championship belt on this thing, on his t-shirts, those gonna sell out the market. But you keep Braun without making Braun look like a weakling after he loses because he gets it back. And then they kind of tug of war, which shows like we're I don't want to say equal, but it's like I'm not better than you. I can beat you on a good given day, and I can also lose on a good given day. And to me, it also builds up the belt because now people are like, is he gonna be able to win it? Is he gonna get the title or is he gonna lose the title? Because right now it's just like main event Jey Uso isn't even main event. He's just always losing.
but see, then with that, I would say if we look back how history tells us, and Abe, you'll appreciate this. One of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time. He held that belt, and he had a good dance partner that I can't name for reasons, right? Chris Jericho had, some of the best runs with that belt, and some of them were short. Some of them were only until that next pay-per-view or to that next Raw or SmackDown. Why couldn't we get in those days of that? Because if Jay and Braun are going to do that, that's going to do nothing but prepare them for the world title. In our eyes, at least. Because, like you said, even if he won it, give it to him, and the next night, Let them have it on a blue strap, something to make us go crazy. And then it's like, oh, there's more merchandise for Nick Khan and so him and Triple H could sell some stuff. But well, why couldn't we get a trade off between the two? Because do the belt still matters as much as they used to? Because the losses will Jay have to get before we cheer and then the people stop eating. So do they really matter as much?
Nah,
I think my
definitely
Wi-Fi
not.
went up. Okay. Yeah, so let's talk about that. Do the belts matter or do the stories matter? That's the
Stories.
thing.
Right
So
now,
with
I would like, if it was personal preference, I would love for the belt to mean more, but they are targeting us in a direction for the stories to mean more right now. Definitely. Definitely.
man, remember they used to acknowledge. Well, they started to slowly but surely say it, like when they said Andrade and Carmelo are former NXT champions. I was like, oh, cool. They actually acknowledged it. But you notice they stopped saying who was former Universal champions.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that kind of disappeared. They only
Yep.
announced KO as a former Universal champion. Finn was the first. They don't
Yep.
say anything about Braun Strowman. It's like the Universal title, which is the undisputed WWE Championship, doesn't even exist anymore.
That is
You think
fact, man. I
that's
never.
I don't
Is
even
that-
like the name of it.
you didn't? I thought it was different. It was different to say
I like
world
I
because
like
of
the
WWE.
universe. I mean, like I'm talking about the one now. Like you have the WWE Heavyweight Champion, and then the WWE Champion.
So you gonna laugh when I say this. So remember, the World Heavyweight Champion was the WWE Championship and the World Championship combined. That was the
Yep.
black belt. The Universal title was the Roman belt, as we call it. So when Roman unified them, and then we took the world out of it, it's not unified anymore. Because you took the world, it should just went back to being the WWE Championship and got rid of it, or just call it the Universal WWE Championship.
I like Undisputed though. I like that because I'm a UFC
did like-
fan. So when I hear
Oh.
Undisputed, it gives me that real life vibe.
The only reason
Makes
I don't like it is because, and I know they didn't do it for the women, but the women's belt, if you look at it, it says undisputed WWE champion. Nia is technically the undisputed WWE champion, but they don't say that. They just say WWE champion. When they bring out Cody, they slipped up a couple times, just call him the WWE champion.
Mhm.
They don't always call him the undisputed, which is the reason I was saying if they have the men, women, and even there was sometimes supposed to be the tag team all mirror each other. It
As in
needs
WWE
each
overall.
one. If
Yeah,
SmackDown
yeah.
has their own titles, SmackDown titles need to be called a certain thing. Because now it looks like the WWE title is secondary to the WWE Heavyweight Championship. But no, it's technically the other way around. The big face is the big face is the one you want.
The network logo is the one that
The
you
big
want.
W.
Yeah, you want that one.
That's the one that's technically the one that all of them combined into. This other one with the small W is the doing. It's like the big joker, little joker when you playing spades. But everybody act like they got the little joker and I got a joker. It's not the big joker though. It's not. It never will be. You're going to lose when you play it to the big joker unless the big joker plays early.
So I'm gonna throw
What
a
are we
monkey
talking
wrench
about?
in this whole thing. I'm gonna hit y'all with a curveball because we tiptoed around this NXT thing, right? How does NXT still make their titles the most important thing and still have storylines that we get behind, but the main roster isn't? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, but I will say, I told you earlier, to me, NXT is the number one brand. They figured everything out.
I believe they make it serious because like you were saying earlier, well, who had it before? Well, we know who had it before because they let us know who's coming. They let us know. They are telling what happened before. They telling you what's happening now, and they telling you who's coming. So it's making the belt seem like a chase, like a thrill. I remember when Shawn Michaels won it. That's when he beat Bret Hart and he sat there and held that belt. That's when belts meant something. And when NXT champions win, they have that feel to like, finally, when Chase U won the tag team titles the other night, it was like a chase. Like, yes, I got it. This means something to me. When Braun beat, we were at SummerSlam. When he beat Sammy, he just took the belt. It's mine. It didn't seem like a cherish, like this was a journey. And I think that's what NXT does. They take you on a ride. So when the person wins it, it means a lot more to you and them.
And not only that, but when they lose it on the main roster, they don't seem like they really try to get back into the title picture. They just let me go do this now. We're still seeing Trick like, no, I need that back.
I need my baby back.
That's mine.
Yeah.
I will run through anybody for my title back. It's
Right.
like it means something to them. Even Wesley, when he was like, I came back, I couldn't beat Oba. I was really trying to get my North American Championship back. It's like you put ownership of it, which now somebody else has. It's like
even that dumb cup something. They got, the Heritage Cup, that wannabe Stanley Cup, that stupid crap. Even that they care about that. They making that thing symbolic too. You know what I mean? They know how to do it at NXT, man.
And that's always been the basis of NXT, because think back to even when the black and gold era. So we went black and gold 2.0 and white and gold, right? So the black and gold days, it felt like that was it was the major thing to fight for. Remember when, and I'm gonna just use the women for example, because it seems like we all love women's wrestling, because now it seems like it's just wrestling, right? When Rhea Ripley beat Shayna Baszler, it felt like the most validated thing. Even though Rhea was the NXT UK champion, she needed that belt. She needed to win that belt. Just like when Becky Lynch came back, she was like, I came back to win the belt that I never had a chance to win. And it felt validated. But then
even with Jade and Bianca, with their little 2-month chase to get they really wanted them tag team titles back. That's the only tag team titles that seem like it's worth something on the main roster. They just don't have no competitors. They don't understand. They don't have no competitors, but it meant something to them. When they lost it, they was like, we didn't get pinned. And most teams be like, well, technically I didn't get pinned. We lost it, but we didn't lose it. We'll get another title shot sooner or later. They're like, no, we need it now. We want it now. We want our belts back now. And we'll pick up and slam any woman in this division to get them back now.
Yeah.
Wow. But do you feel that way about the secondary titles? Not NXT though. No.
NXT?
Yeah, NXT.
I like the NXT secondary title.
I will say I will
job.
give a little bit of credit to the Intercontinental. I think what Gunther did, he put some respect on it. What Braun Breaker is doing is getting a little more. And if he don't lose it to Jay, we'll see where that goes. So I would say Intercontinental is a little bit prestigious right now, thanks to Gunther.
Braun Breaker did cut a hell of a promo for the title. I mean, he don't show that he wants it as bad as everybody do, but that promo what he said, my name's bolted in here. Yeah. They're gonna have to kill me to get this off. I'm like,
I
shit.
feel a little something with the Intercontinental.
Like his I don't know why Braun Breaker's backstage promos is way better than when he's.
Because he's a football player. He's trying to get the team riled up.
Exactly.
He knows how to get them out. He knows how to.
And it's recorded. Let's see you do it live, kid.
Maybe that's why he's only been in those backstage segments. But it sounds like to me that this is the best time to be a wrestling fan, because we got the best storylines right now. But I hate to say it, being the championship guy, I think y'all are in agreement with me that I feel like the championships are not the main attraction, and they've taken the back seat to. That's the trade-off for having the best stories right now.
I'm just gonna say it, to a bracelet.
The two most important things on Raw and SmackDown weren't the titles: a bracelet and a necklace. Let's just call it what it is.
A bracelet, a necklace, and some chicken tendies. If we go with Dom Mysterio, chicken tendies is more important than the tag team belts.
I destroyed PlayStation 5. Room key, you name it. Those all objects. A briefcase on SmackDown. Everything's centered around something else. And it sucks because championships, their lineage, are attached to so many things. They are so many moments that I kind of feel like you got two big storylines that got the tag team and the women's world title, then the tag team and the men's world title on both shows. But then you look at NXT, Ethan Page keep getting challengers. Roxanne Perez, well, sorry, you about to lose it to Julia. You got, yeah, you said I did that.
If she loses, They're going to bring it to the main roster, and I'm not happy
Leave her
for
there.
that.
Just leave her there.
I'm not happy for that.
Just leave it there. I'm not. Okay. You see, y'all
All
trying
right.
to bait me in. Y'all trying to bait me in. I will not let it happen.
You don't like Oba? You want Roxanne to lose?
I didn't say I don't like Oba.
I just want to come over and look at all your titles, man.
And the crazy part is the room. That's the high wall. And
I'm serious. I just want to try them on.
You got custom belts back there too.
Yeah, these are all the wrestling realm and the wrestling. So each host got their own custom, but I got mine on red because I like red. And these are we all have tag belts, and that's our trios belt, but that's TNA's belt. Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's a lot of them. I'm not gonna tell you the number because he swears the number grows every time. But I feel like we did. I think we.
I feel like you and titles is like me and shoes.
You got that many shoes? Are your closets full of it?
Too many.
I was at 3 something, but I've dropped down to 107 now, and I'm proud of myself that I've dropped down.
I'm disappointed that you have that many, to be quite honest.
Kane had more.
Yeah, he did.
All right, Peter, our brother Kane, but he had way more. He was the one that got me in the shoes.
Where did you put them? You had a room for this, didn't you? You had a room just for shoes, didn't you? Like I
have the drop front cases, just giant wall display. Yeah.
I have a whole room just dedicated to belts.
Wow.
So we talked about how this might be the best time to be a wrestling fan. It might not be the best time to be a belt fan, but it's the best time to be a wrestling fan. Any promotion, anytime, it's literally the best time to be a wrestling fan because, unfortunately, the championships have taken a back seat. With that being said, Chuck, tell the people where they can find you. Give them all your social media and all your social handles and stuff like that.
My name is Chuck Jordan, and you can find me at Chuck Jordan RNB on everything.
All right, Ava, you're up next. That was easy.
You can find me at ABE from DET on all social media platforms. You can find the both of us at the Holy Shhh Podcast. That's with triple H's. No pun intended to Hunter. But you can find us on every single platform you can name of, except probably Kick. But we are on everything now, 100%.
We also have a web page.
The Holy Shhh Podcast.com merchandise on sale. Check us out.
Merch. We have Chuck's Angels. We have Raw Review. We have Ring Rant. We have Ron T's Icon of the Week. We have
Talking Shh of the Week.
Coach DTM's Talking Shh of the Week. We have something every day.
Every day.
Every hour. Just go listen. Just go find them on any social media platform. My preferred one is TikTok. Just go to TikTok. You're gonna get them, and then if you want to see more, then go to YouTube. But I always start with TikTok. I'll go to TikTok.
We are also on all what is it called? All streaming sites for your iPod listening viewing pleasures.
Yeah. iTunes, Spotify, all that junk.
Oh, all the good stuff.
So you can just
ride. More than just see, I like to, and I guess I'll be living dangerous doing this as I'm driving.
We actually got safe versions for y'all.
Okay, good. Don't be like me. Find them all.
Go to your favorite podcast streaming site and just push play.
Yep. Thank you for having us, bro.
No problem. We are from the Championship Culture, guys. I want to say thank you for joining us for this kickoff of season 3 of Championship Culture. Make sure you comment and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a notification or you don't miss when we're going to announce something. Because trust me, we got a lot planned for this season. And of course, you can follow us on all social media platforms just by going to Championship Culture _ for Instagram and youtube.com/The Wrestling Room. You can catch up on all of season 1, all of season 2, and now we're starting off with season 3. Don't forget, tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for a new episode of Championship Culture. As always, thanks for watching. And remember, every belt has a story, and I can't wait to hear yours.
What the fuck?